Piano Annie here with Big Cat Boogie, and here's what it sounds like. And you could put a little meow on the end if you want. Meow. Okay, so let's go over it slowly, and then I will do a tutorial while explaining the 3 skills that I've put in here that you can add to your blues and boogie-woogie toolbox. So here it is slowly. All right, so let me go over a few of the skills that I used in there. The first is what I call the Sassafras triplet, because Sassafras has 3 A's and I'm starting on an A, and Sassafras has 3 syllables and it's a triplet. So here we go. It's just A, G, and then into a 6th, which is with C, the root note, up on top and an E on the bottom. So you can do A, G into the 6th or G, A into the 6th. And if you turn that into a triplet, I'm just going to use a regular left hand like this. Or you can alternate between the A, G and the G, A. Or just do the G, A. And when you move to the F position, you can just flat the E and stay in the same position, which is being a lazy sloth, which I always recommend. So it would be like this. So you see I went A, G, and then I did G, A. For F, you can also just find your F scale, find the 5th and 6th notes, which is C and D, and then use those, and then put your F on top for your 6th, and find your A on the bottom. So it would be like this. And then for G, you can just go up 1 whole step, and again, for our 6th, the G will be on top. This is the 5th and 6th note, so that's what we'll use to get there. And if you want it to stay down here the whole time, you could also do this for your G portion. You could do the G, F, and then use D and B as your 6th. Okay, and it did take me a few minutes to get my pinky to go down on that 6th when I was doing this as a triplet. It just didn't want to hit it. So take a little time till your hands get used to it, and I promise that they will. All right, so from there, we turn it into an expanding 6th. So that's your little mini riff number 2 to put into your toolbox. And then expand up to an octave. So you can expand up with your pinky, and you end up with an octave on the 3rd note of whatever scale you're in. And then for F, it would be here. And for G. And you can also expand down with your thumb. So you would do this. There's our 6th. And then I just go on down to have a root note octave. And any rhythm you want, however you want to combine it. You can do both. From there, when you're in this nice octave position, I just wanted to review that you can do a hey, look at me now from an octave position. So that might be something you want to go into from there. So a hey, look at me now is just a triplet hidden within a triplet. I have a whole video on it, but just quickly to review, if this was your triplet, G, G flat, C, like this. You're just taking that middle note, which is the G flat, and turning it into 3 notes. And in this case, we would do G flat, F, and E flat, and squeeze it in the same time value, like this. with an octave. So you go to a C octave, and then you use the notes of the C7 or the C6, and you use those as your 3 notes in the middle of that triplet. So it would be like, hey, look at me now, hey, look at me now, or faster. And in F, same thing. So it'd be like, or you could use the F6 notes. And then G, same thing. You could use these 3, the B, D, F as your 3 notes in the middle, or you can use B, D, E. Okay? You can also go up with a hey, look at me now. So you could do, hey, look at me now. There's one more thing with the hey, look at me now rhythm that I wanted to teach you, and that is that normally it just takes up 2 strikes of the left hand, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. But you can change that rhythm to make it last for 3 strikes of the left hand, and that's essentially what I'm doing with the Big Cat Boogie. So it would be that these 3 notes squeeze in with the 2nd strike down here. So it's like this. And then you hit that 4th strike by itself, or you add something else. So, or in F, and in G. And one more idea to expand on that is that you don't always have to be in this perfect octave and then using the notes in this order. You could put your octave here on the 3rd note, for example, and that's what we're going to do in Big Cat Boogie. So I use an E octave, but I still use the notes from the C7 chord. So forget that C, but these become the 3 notes, the C, the B flat, and the G. So like this, E octave. And then in the Big Cat Boogie, we actually, I think, end up going into an octave instead of just a single note. All right, so putting all of that together, you've got your Sassafras triplet, A, G, 6th, or GA. And then we've got the expanding 6th that takes you from a 6th climbing up or climbing down to an octave. And from there, since you're in a nice octave position, you can add in some, hey, look at me now. The left hand that I used for the Big Cat was C, C, E, C, G, C, A, G. Or you can think of it as, if you use 1 through 8 to count the notes, it's 1, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 6, 5 in the swing rhythm. And by the way, the words that I use for my Big Cat Boogie are, I came home and I saw a big cat. And in its simplest form, it's just really this. It's just this E octave sound, like I came home and I, down half a step, saw a big cat. So it was E octave to E flat octave, D octave, C octave. So I came home and I saw a big cat. And the only thing I did really to embellish it was I came home, and I threw that in there. Those 3 notes sort of hidden in there, but they did get a strike of the left hand. So I came home and I saw a big cat. And then, instead of just opening with a plain octave, I substituted in an expanding 6th. So it was I came home. Okay? I came home and I saw a big cat. And then I climbed, when I was done with the C section, I climbed up to G. And by climbing to the G, it put my fingers right in position to do the F portion, which was the expanding 6th, like this. And I expanded upward. And I just did the same thing. I came down the F7 notes. So it was expanding 6th. And then sneak in those 3 notes, octave, And then just that same idea, go down half a step, back to the A octave, and then down A flat, G, F. So it was. And when we went to the G portion, we don't have as much time, so I just think I did, and I held it. And then for the 1 bar of F toward the end of the 12-bar blues, I think I went down just to give it a different sound. Then we go back to C, and for the last 3 words, and I saw a big cat, I just did an ending, which is my thing I use all the time, which was just the G flat and E flat into the G, E, and then a C6. And I'll play it again. I'm going to do it slowly once for you. So one trick you can use, let me switch to just a regular left hand of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's on that 6th note when you squeeze in those 3 quick notes. So real slowly, it was. And you'll also notice one slightly different thing that I do is I actually hit this octave a little early and then I hold it for strike 5. Okay, so I'm holding this for strike 4 and strike 5, but if you want, you could do it like this. All right, so it's striking the octave here on 5 and then going right into the quick 3 notes. So it just changes the rhythm a tiny bit. But if you do it that second way where you hit this on 5 and this on 6, then you're really doing that hey look at me now with the expanded rhythm. So I know that was a lot. You may not want to think so much about it and just learn it by watching what I played and using your ear. But if you wanted it broken down, you can transfer those skills into other improvisations. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you have fun with the Big Cat Boogie. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.